Soapdish and my co-host, Luann Perschau. How are you, Luann?
Hey, Mark, I'm doing great today. How about yourself?
I'm doing quite well. Today is June 19th, 2024. It's been a few weeks since we've talked Young and Restless.
Yes, and I'm ready to talk some more
Let's
about
do
them.
it.
Okay.
All right. Let's start out with Ashley is in Paris, and she's still dealing with her mental health issues. It finally, I don't remember exactly where you and I left off, but it feels like, they figured out now what all happened with their brother. I'm sorry, the shrink's brother.
Alan's brother, Martin.
Alan's brother. What was his name?
Martin.
Martin. I was going to say
Yes.
Melvin, but Martin.
Yeah, but Martin.
Martin was killed, as it turns out now, right? We think.
Yeah. Well, I think he was more, I hope he was most surely dead because they made it look like he was. And that's kind of where we ended the last
That's
time.
where we kind of ended.
Yeah, because we at that point when we last talked was Alan had it was kind of like did Alan disappear or is he a split personality here? And we realized that Alan did indeed have his brother, and his brother kind of he was using Ashley as a test. It's like, hey, I proved what I could do. And Alan came to the rescue. And as you had pointed out, you figured that Tucker might come to the rescue, and he did.
He did.
And at the very end there, Tucker came to the rescue because he thought something wasn't quite right with Ashley. And then he and Tracy both witnessed Alan fighting with Martin, wrestling with him, and then they fell over the balcony. And it was good that they were both wearing different clothes because it was kind of like, okay, who would have been alive really? But Martin, you knew what clothes Martin was wearing. So as far as we know, Martin is dead.
I don't trust these writers, though, Luann.
I know. You've been watching soaps way too long.
I've been watching too many years. Yeah, exactly.
Resurrect themselves in a couple years.
Yeah, they have 9 lives. These actors that die all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and so when Alan recommended to Tracy and Jack that they have a good facility there that will help Ashley, because he said, we just maybe touched the nerve here with a few personalities. Maybe there's more. And I was surprised too, where Jack and Tracy said, you mean she might have had some of these personalities as she was young and growing up? It's like, we didn't see some of those. And so it was kind of interesting how he said that. And, he's reassured them that she's getting good care. So I would hope that, unless she can't have visitors, that Jack has already left Paris, but that Tracy would, check her out before she heads back to Genoa City.
Right. Yep. That's right. The other thing, though, is that they haven't yet totally, and I hope that the writers do something with this. They haven't totally kind of told us what the issue is or what was her trauma, back in the day. So,
maybe something will come out that.
It would be kind of a nice way to wrap that story up. So we'll see. I don't know.
And I'm glad that they just didn't end it that, like we talked to, the last time, that all of a sudden she was cured and you just move on. It's like she's getting care, and that they're taking it through to the final, to get her well. So I think that part is good.
Yeah, agreed. All right. So I like the next item on our agenda. So Tucker's in the middle of a hostile takeover from Audra, and she calls an emergency board meeting, and it's a video conference, and Tucker's on the call or the video, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, he starts having chest pains. And I'm, for a second, he's a good actor, so I'm sitting here thinking, is he really, or is he? Because I was leaning towards he's faking it because he's such a fraud,
I know, but then when he fell over too,
I know,
kind of hit the
maybe
computer, it's kind of like, oh, maybe. But
it is a lot of stress,
I know, but Audra called him out on the carpet. She's like, "Oh, you're just faking
it." Yeah.
And he was. He was.
So what's funny is then when that scene breaks, then he gets up and he pays the doctor that he called over, that he summoned over there. He gives him some cash and sends him on his way.
That Tucker, he's a sly one.
That was pretty good.
I know.
He's a sly one. And
Yes,
even
he
his friend or assistant, whatever she is there,
Yeah.
she went like, what the hell? I think she actually kind of believed it. You know?
Yeah, because she did too. Yes.
She didn't know. All right. So Audra, as we've mentioned, has been working now for some time, we find out, at overthrowing Tucker as the CEO of his own company. But we learned, I think, in about the last week here, that there's a mysterious anonymous donor that is invested in this company that Audra convinced to buy in and kind of do this takeover. And we find out recently now that it's Victor Newman.
I know. That was a great way to end the week last Friday. That was the last scene where you see Audra speaking to the person that it looks like it's a done deal.
Yep.
And all of a sudden there's Victor saying, you did a good job. You keep me updated, And it's like, Victor, and what I thought was interesting in this week's episode, because Tucker is out of his mind trying to figure out who is this person, this secret person that, anonymous person that is wanting to take over the company. So he goes over to Ashley's apartment, confronts Jack, thinking it's Jack. Yeah. And Jack is like, what are you talking about?
What the hell are you talking about?
He's like, I have no interest in your company. Why would I? I have Jabot. It's like, I have the best company. And so then Tucker is left to wonder, then who is it? Because he really thought it was Jack. And so I think
when you think about it, that kind of made sense. That it could have been because he was in Paris and,
And he pretty much has given up now. He said, Audra, I give up my company. I give up you. It's like you've won. And so, which is surprising. That coming from Tucker, because he's not one to easily give up.
Well, for those that don't want to know, cover your ears, but rumor has it that Trevor St. John, who plays Tucker, is leaving the show. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, that's what I read too. Just yesterday I did.
Yeah, it just came out yesterday.
So his, and I didn't realize it's been almost 2 years since he's been on.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah, he came in probably at the end of 2022. So
okay, I suppose it's been that long then.
Yeah, but he said, I'll be leaving, but who knows? Maybe a couple years down the road, Tucker will reappear again, and if it will be him or not. But so I was surprised. Like you and I have talked, we've liked the character of Tucker, but this is a way for him to get out, and and Audra, now they'll give her more opportunities.
I think so too. Yeah,
they're keeping her on, which is good, because I think they need to utilize Audra a little bit more in some of the storylines.
She's good. I like her role.
Yeah, and so I think Tucker met his match, and she said she watched her teacher closely, and she learned from him, and she outwitted him.
She did. Yeah, I agree. All right, so next let's talk about Tracy. Tracy Abbott. She ends up staying in Paris to help support Ashley. Do you... I better hold off. Let's just leave it there. I want to ask you a question about that later.
In the Super SUDSY?
Yeah, in Super SUDSY.
Okay, that sounds good.
So let's talk about Nicki Newman. So Nicki, she doesn't want Adam running Newman Media, as she can't stand Adam really.
No,
and neither can Victoria. So those two, Nicki asked Victoria to come back at least temporarily to fill in, to help run or co-CEO Newman Media with Nicki. And reluctantly, she ends up saying yes. And today they go over and tell Victor that what their plans are, and that this is the right thing to do, and Victor said, "Oh, really?" he says. And then at the end he says, "No, that's not gonna. I'm not gonna do it."
I know, and they were surprised too. They're like, "What? You're not gonna let us do that?" And he because I think he had already talked with Adam Well, he didn't really share that running it. He wants Adam to do some digging on something, and Adam said that was in yesterday's episode, digging some information or digging up some bad stuff on another company. And Adam said, well, which company and who, and why are you wanting me to do this? And Victor said, you don't, typical, you don't need to know that right now. And Adam, I give him credit. He said, no, I'm not going to, unless you tell me who it is and why. I'm not going to, because he said, I know why you're coming to me, because I do the dirty work. He said, why don't you go to Victoria and Nick? Because they won't do it. So he said no. But, and I think
but the term he used is, I want somebody in there that's as ruthless as I am.
Yes, he did say that.
That's what Victor said.
Yes, that's what he did say. It is true. It is true. Yeah. No, I agree. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I have another thought on that in Super SUDSY.
Okay.
And let's move into that.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Will Adam end up the first question is will Adam end up running Newman Media? What are your thoughts?
I'm thinking Victor really wants to put him in that position, and it's up to Adam if he wants to take that on, because with Connor going through what he's doing right now, and things are starting to improve a little bit for Connor, he's kind of coming around. And, if Adam sees that Connor seems to be doing better, perhaps I could take this on. Because up until this point, he was saying to Victor, no, my family is important. It's important for me to be with Connor. But I think because Adam does like power also.
Oh, yeah.
And he is ruthless. So I think
he is ruthless.
Yeah, and he likes getting one up on Victoria, because he's always had to be in the back seat to Victoria.
Yeah.
And I think he would. How about, what do you think?
Yeah. I think he will. He will end up taking it. And, well, let's move into the next question because it's related. Okay. Victor is wanting Adam to take over another company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what I understood, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Jabot. I think it's a division of Jabot. I think he's going to settle his axe to grind with Jack on that whole alcohol treatment thing with Nicki when Jack overdosed.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other thing is, remember, Victor is the private anonymous donor to help with that buyout of Glissade, or I think that's how you say it, the company that was Tucker's. And once he does that, I think with that company, it's like Jack had said, that company is in no competition to Jabot. So Glissade is a cosmetic company, but not at the same level as Jabot. Would he like to build it up? Yes. I don't know if he would have Adam in mind for that. If that's the company, I don't know if he has Adam in mind for that. The one I think he's grooming for that, he's been feeling out Kyle. Because he knows Kyle hasn't been happy with Diane.
That's right.
And Kyle has the experience with Jabot, and he's been undermining Diane. And
that's good.
Yeah, and Victor can see some of that. With the dynamics of the family. He's like, how do you like reporting to your mom who knows less than you do? Kyle's like,
which is true, by the way.
Yeah, and I thought Kyle's response was like, because when Victor asked, "How's your family doing?" he said, "Well, we put the fun in dysfunction."
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was a good reply. But, and Kyle said, hey, I've worked with your company 2 other times, and it didn't end well.
It didn't work well.
Yeah. And Victor said, that's in the past,
Yeah.
So there's a part of me that wonders if he doesn't want to bring Kyle into the company. But
I think you're right. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, but you might be right.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, but you might be right that maybe Adam can run the company, but Kyle will be his right-hand man doing something, and that would be a way for Victor to stick it to Jack too.
Yeah, true. That's true.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's got something to do with sticking it to Jack, so that could be right up the alley.
I'll take your son and put him, in a higher level position that he deserves to be in with my new company that's in competition with you now.
Right. And then we'll go after you next, kind of thing. I can totally see that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my last question for you is, what is happening with Aunt Jordan? We haven't seen her for a while, Luann.
No, we have not seen her
And
at all.
are they going to bring that back soon? What do you think?
I don't know when we say soon. I don't know how soon it might be. 2 months, a year, couple weeks. I don't know. But yeah, you haven't heard anything about her. The only reference was today when Claire met her siblings for the first time.
Right.
And they, kind of brought up, hey, you lived with your crazy aunt and she burned down our house. And, it didn't go over real well, with the siblings meeting Claire for the first time. But that was the only reference to Jordan that's even been made, and nothing's been said like, what's going on with her in prison. I think she's just in a real good lockdown prison right now. And I think she'll come as a surprise all of a sudden. If things are going along really good with Claire, all of a sudden she'll make an appearance somewhere. I don't know.
It's interesting, like that storyline, and there's a lot of those where it seems like they leave the door open on a lot of these stories to where, like you said, Luann, they could resurrect that 2 weeks from now or 2 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? But they can do it. They leave that door open.
Yes. And it will be interesting, just going back, to Claire. When Claire first came on Young and Restless, I mean, she was an assistant to Nicki, and she looked very professional, dressed up, the way she wore her hair. And now you see her, today she almost looked like Laura Ingalls Wilder with her hair down and kind of a little pinafore dress. And it's like, and she's a nanny, and it's just like, I'm hoping the writers will use her, all of a sudden she'll blossom again into, something more with more juicier plots, because being the nanny and getting through that. But maybe this is her transition, from being under Jordan's thumb and now finding her family again. And then what will she become next? So I'm hoping they'll make her more exciting and,
I do think that she and Kyle will get involved. Mm-hmm. And, they could take that a lot of different ways, too, I suppose.
And maybe that's where she'll come out of her shell, where it's like, all of a sudden I want to dress up and impress him. And
she's a pretty girl.
She's a very pretty girl. And, as we talked, she was supposed to be Ashley's daughter. I'm drawing a blank here. Married to Devon.
Yeah, anyway, she was on the show today for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
Melissa Ordway, I can come up with her real name.
All of a sudden I'm drawing a blank. But anyway,
me too.
So I'm just hoping they do more with her. And then you were asking me about Tracy staying in Paris.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yes, and
I wanted to bring that up too.
Yes, because I thought it was nice how Alan asked her if she would like to go out for dinner with him, and I thought, because Tracy has not had anyone in her life for a long time, and I thought, well,
Brad Carlton.
Yeah, Brad Carlton.
Remember?
Yes, I remember him. He was good looking.
Who's now Dollar Bill Spencer.
Yeah.
On Bold and Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But so I'm maybe there'll be more to their relationship if she'll decide to stay in Paris a little longer. Who knows?
It's interesting because Tracy hadn't been on the show for years, and all of a sudden they brought. I always liked her on the show way back when too. I thought she had it's a different role. It's not the evil.
No.
Bad person, but I always liked. I think she's a good actress, and I liked her role.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do too, and she has very good common sense. She's
kind of the stable one in the outfit, frankly.
She is. She's very stable, and when Tucker stopped over there to Ashley's apartment this week, he and Tracy had a good conversation, and she was trying to, tell Tucker, it's time to let it go, and let him see how he should really be approaching everything. And Tucker, he agreed with her. He's like, no, your words, you have wise words, and I understand. So he was good.
Yep. Okay, that's all I've got. You got any other thoughts or comments, Luann?
No, I that's it for me too. I mean, we brought everything to kind of a halt with Ashley's story and the Jordan story right now. So it's kind of quiet there in Genoa City, and there, all these business takeovers. That's kind of main thing that's going on right now.
Yeah. Oh, Victor will spice it up again,
Yes,
Luann.
we will.
My guy, Victor Newman.
Yeah, we can always count on Victor.
We can always count on Victor to stir the pot.
That's right.
All right. All right. That's all. Let's kind of watch and see what happens, and we will dish again.
Sounds great, Mark. I look forward to it.
All right. Until we dish again, keep it sudsy.
Oh, yeah.